So now that you have all the letters down, let's take just a few minutes and talk about ornaments and flourishes as they relate to Chancery cursive calligraphy. Okay? Now I'm using two words there, flourishes and ornaments. An ornament is any kind of decoration that is unconnected to a letter. Here's one, for instance, just a perfectly straight, curvy line. Straight, curvy. You caught that, didn't you? Here's another one. The kind of thing that you see and the kind of thing that you'll probably want to practice while you're doing your lettering. I would call those ornaments. Now, not to be confused, if you're going to take more calligraphy classes, not to be confused with an ornamental cap. That is an ornamental capital letter that's one letter all super, super, super decorated. That's what we call an ornamental cap. But here I'm just talking about ornaments in general, little decorations that are used to finish out your project. I'm doing them very poorly here in a big hurry, just so you get the idea. Now, let's talk about flourishes, shall we? Slightly different subject, but very closely related. If you have a body of text, that is, you've finished your calligraphy, and let's say this is all your lines, letters, letters, words, words, letters, there we go. There are flourishes. Now, the way I use the term is a flourish is connected to a letter. Got it? Now, we already have one set of flourishes nailed down. When we went through all of the letters of the alphabet, and I told you, what if it's the last letter in a line of text? Do you remember, for instance, we had an E, which we would do like this, and there are two places to put a flourish if an E is. One is from this line, the other is from this. Do you see that? One is from the middle. And a flourish is all those things we talked about, either a curl or even a curlicue or an S curve of some kind, any kind of curve off the end of the letter. So let's assume that you already have those down. The important principle to keep in mind, listen, is that the flourishes appear almost exclusively at the circumference of the body of text, either at the top, the bottom, the left, or the right. Does that make sense? Which ones then, for instance, which letters give themselves to flourishes along the top? And the answer is very simple. Any of the letters that have an ascender, that is a line that sticks up above the line of text. For instance, the letter B, the letter D, an F, an H, a K, and so on. You got the idea. All of those are ascenders. Let me do that with a calligraphy pen so that you can see it. I'm going to blow it up a little. Let's say I'm doing a letter B. So here's my B. And here's the flag at the top of my letter B, right? This flag is a wide open invitation for adding a flourish. Either you can just do a little bit like that. You can do a curlicue. I'm just going to make a big mess if I keep doing this. You understand? You can do the sky's the limit. Here's the principle to keep in mind, that it is the context, the appearance of the whole piece of art that will tell you how and how much flourish to do. You do the flourishes last. Does that make sense? So you'll do your body of type very often and then say, well, you know what would fit in really well here would be to make my H, do a big loop up there. And because the H happened to fall in the right place in the line to make it look good. You don't do this to all of your letters at the top. Do you understand? Just the ones that make it look cool. Let's talk about the bottom. You can probably figure this out for yourself. The letters that have a descender are the letter F, G, J, P, Q, and Y. So all of these descenders, again, are wide open invitation for doing some kind of flourish. And you really won't know what to do until this body of text is done. Got it? Now just one more when it comes to the circumference, that is the boundary of the body of text is where you want your flourishes to go. The left side, there aren't really any or many lowercase letters that give themselves to flourish. As you can add them anywhere, but there aren't, perhaps the letter F, the crossbar, and the letter T, the crossbar, maybe that could be an invitation to a flourish. Otherwise, you can just add them wherever you want as a swoop up into the letter. Get it? Let's see, we're doing letter P. There, we just extend that and turn that into a flourish. But on the left side, there's a special case, and that is the capital letters all have a wide open invitation for a flourish. Do you remember how we started the capitals? Of course you do. Most of them, many of them, have a curve very much like this at the beginning of it. And there you go again. That's a wide open invitation for some kind of flourish, whether it comes around like this or you extend it way out and go around like this. You won't know until you've got the body of text done. So does that make sense? What makes it look like a chancery is one thing, the angle you hold your pen, see if it's that thick and thin line, it's going to match the thick and thin of your letters. The other thing is Chancery cursive is a cursive, a curve-ish lettering. So most of your flourishes should be curves, of course, which would be different if we were doing like an old English text. So it's quite a different matter. So I hope that helps you. You'll see me applying these, and we'll talk about it more when we get into our fine art calligraphy project. But that's ornaments and flourishes.